Deep in the Peruvian Amazon, there is a river that boils. Not warm, not hot, boiling. In places, the water reaches temperatures near the boiling point itself, hot enough that steam rises off its surface in thick white clouds, hot enough that if you fell in, it would cook you alive. For a long time, the outside world believed it was only a legend, a story told in the deep jungle, too strange to be true. It was true. The story reached the modern world through a geologist who had heard it as a child from his own family. A legend of a great river, deep in the rainforest, with water hot enough to kill. A place of powerful spirits, guarded by shamans where the water steamed and churned. As a scientist, he assumed it could not be real. Rivers do not boil, not like this. A boiling river of that size would normally need a volcano nearby to heat it, and there is no volcano anywhere near this part of the Amazon. The nearest one is hundreds of kilometers away. By every rule he had been taught, the river should not exist. So he went to find out. He traveled deep into the jungle, guided by local people, to the place the legend described. And what he found left no room for doubt. The river was real, and it was every bit as deadly as the story said. It runs for several kilometers through the rainforest. In some stretches it is wide and deep, wider than a road, deep enough to swim in if the water were not hot enough to kill. Steam pours off the surface. The stones along its banks are warm to the touch, and the water, in the hottest sections, sits at a temperature that can reach close to 90 degrees, and in places, the boiling point of water itself. To the people who live near it, this is no curiosity. It is sacred and it is dangerous, and they treat it with deep respect. The river is the domain of a powerful spirit. Healers come to its waters, and everyone understands without question that you do not fall in, because the river kills. Animals that lose their footing, that slip from the banks or are swept in from upstream, do not survive. The scientists watched it happen. A creature in the boiling water dies quickly and terribly. First, the eyes. The hot water clouds them in an instant, and the animal is blinded. Then the water floods in, and from the inside out, it is cooked. What the river takes, it does not give back alive. This is the brutal heart of the mystery. A river in the middle of the rainforest, hot enough to boil, with no volcano anywhere near it to explain the heat. So where does the heat come from? The answer lies far beneath the surface. Rain falls on the Andes Mountains and on the high ground and seeps down deep into the earth through cracks and faults in the rock. Down there, closer to the planet's hot interior, the water is heated, like water in a vast natural kettle, buried in the ground. And then, along a fault, a weakness in the rock, that superheated water finds its way back up to the surface. It rises, scalding hot, and pours out into the riverbed, feeding the river its deadly heat. It is not a volcanic river. It is a geothermal one, a place where the heat of the deep earth reaches up and touches the world of the living, in the middle of the jungle. It is rare, astonishingly rare on this scale, so far from any volcano. For a long time, mainstream science did not even believe it could happen here. The legend was, in the end, more accurate than the textbooks. And that is perhaps the real lesson of the boiling river, that the people who had lived beside it for generations knew exactly what it was and treated it with the respect it deserved. While the wider world dismissed their knowledge as a myth, the river did not care what the textbooks said. It simply went on boiling in the heart of the rainforest, exactly as it had for longer than any of us have been alive. And now, imagine standing on its bank, the air thick and wet and warm, the jungle loud all around you, insects, birds, the dense green pressing in, and in front of you, a wide river with steam rising off it in white curtains, the water sliding past, fast and smooth and deadly. You can feel the heat of it on your face from where you stand. You can see, here and there, the pale shape of some creature that did not make it, drifting in the current. It looks almost like any other jungle river, cool and inviting in the heat of the day, and it would kill you in moments. The deep earth reaching up through the floor of the rainforest, a river of boiling water in a place no river has any right to boil, guarded for centuries by people who always knew it was real, while the rest of us insisted it could not be.